So this short line, for me, the crucial thing is your depths. By that I mean, you're looking at the depth in which you think is best to catch the roach. So some days, you could say for instance 8 foot is going to be the optimum depth, but there's other days where you can come up the shelf into 7 foot and it'd be miles better, or you can go down the shelf into maybe 9 foot and that'd be the best. If you're fishing the wrong depth, you just do not catch enough, and that on these big deep canals is the crucial part, is finding the right depth that them fish want to feed in. Fish too deep and the roach come above your bait and they're harder to catch. Fish too shallow and you don't get any bites. So what you're trying to achieve is catching them in the right depth on your rig. So a big deciding factor in what depths I choose to start for my roach fishing is the clarity of the water. So if there's a lot of colour in the water, the fish tend to come into maybe 7 foot, whereas if the colour drops right out and it ends up really clear, the fish tend to back off into maybe 9 foot of water. So by using past experience and the clarity of the canal, I then choose what depth I'm going to start at, and I work from there whether I end up fishing further down the slope or up the slope and alternate my depths between that. So we're going to go through my short pole mix for these deep canals, and I've got the Black Magic, which has got some hemp seed in, and it's a dark colour, which obviously the fish will come over and stay over more confidently. And then I've got the number 1, which is more like a binder with some crumb in it. So they complement each other brilliant on these deep canals, as they're sticky enough to bind and hold your bait in to get it to the bottom. So first of all, I'm going to mix a bag of each. Give that a good mix round, and then we're going to add some water. But we're going to add this a bit at a time because you can over wet this and ruin it. So because the finer particles, you can't give them too much water. And you'll see when you get into right amount, because it'll just start to darken off the mix even more. You'll see already it's starting to bind, and that'll take all my bait straight to the bottom where I want to catch my fish. So this is a mix that I've used for probably 3 years, and it's got me to 2 Riverfest finals in the last 3 years. And for me, ground bait's all about confidence, and with results I've been getting on it, it's filling me with confidence to use it every week. I know that that's going to get the bait to the bottom to catch fish, which is what I'm trying to achieve on these deep canals. So I've took enough ground bait to make 4 good sized balls that fit comfortably in my pot to stop them spinning, put them into a separate tub, and feeding just pinkies on this line because we're looking to catch roach. So we're not going to feed any worms or casters, just pinkies, and a good handful into that, plenty of bait in, and it's a sticky mix. We want to get it plenty of bait on the bottom where we actually want to catch the fish. So squeeze them nice and tight. I'm going to feed 4 balls like that. As you'll see, loads of pinkies in that mix. Get the bait to the bottom, catch the fish on the bottom. So today I've fed my bait on my short line, and I'm going to go straight on it for the purpose of this video. But usually in a competition here, I would be starting on a feeder, looking to give it half an hour, looking for the peg to build and more fish to come in, let them settle, and then start catching on that hopefully after half an hour. But today we're going to go straight on it and we'll see what happens. So I've gone in straight away on this line, which in match conditions is probably not ideal, but I've had bites straight away. And to be fair, come the national, roach fishing is going to be good for points, although bream will get you mega points and maybe win you some money. Roach fishing is going to be what you need to get good section points, and you can expect to catch roach weights up to 6 or 7 kilo here. I think maybe 3 kilo will be a good weight of roach from average areas, but some areas you're definitely going to need more, especially with the odd bonus fish about, but if you set your stall out to catch maybe 4 kilo of roach, it'll get you really good points, and take it from there and see what you can catch. So one thing on this canal you need to be wary of is that when the lock gate's open, there's a lot of water moves. So when loose feeding bait, if the canal's running, they can end up a long way down your peg, so obviously it spreads your fish about. So when you do come to topping up or looking at whereabouts in the peg you're going to catch your fish, you need to be thinking that where's my bait actually ending up. So at the minute, because I've not loose fed anything, I'm looking to catch right over the top of where I've fed the initial feed. But as the session progresses and I have to start loose feeding with a catapult to keep fish coming, it might be then that I have to run down the peg to catch them, which is why it's nice where I've fished on the joint of the section, because I can then use the rest of the pole to follow the rig down. So at the minute there's not a lot of flow on the water, so like I say, you can fish right on your bait, but you can also, because it's quite flat the peg where I've plumbed up, I can also go up my section just past my feed. So if I'm struggling for bites, I can go past my feed and catch around it. Hybrid. Right, so I'll run you through the 2 rigs I've set up to start my approach on my short line. And the first one, which both these are on number 4 elastic through 1 section, is a 0.8 AS7 float. It's got a wire stem and a solid fibre bristle. It's got a blocker number 8 shot 2 foot from the hook, and then 3 number 11 droppers 6 inch apart with a 6 inch hook length and a 20 hook to 08. And for me, that boat gets me down to the catch zone as quick as I can, and then a steady fall in the last 2 foot of water. So that's the first rig. And the next rig is a number 4 through 1 again, and this is a SF 1.6 running down to, again, smaller blocker shot and 3 number 12 droppers. And what this rig does is obviously it gets me down to the last 2 foot when I'm wanting to catch my fish, but these little number 12s, then when there's not as much movement on the water, I can hold the bait back and the bait will lift, and then I can let it run, and I'm catching them through that last 2 foot of water all the time. So obviously the better the peg, I'll get away with the heavier rig, but as the peg starts to die and there's less fish in the peg, then you pick this rig up and it'll just keep my bites coming. So there you are, folks. That's been my end of my short session, and it's been really good. I think I've caught in just over 8 foot. That's been the best depth to keep my fish, and topping up with ground bait today 1 miles better. On other days that ain't the case, but today it stood out a mile. Topping up with little balls of ground bait packed with pinkies has definitely been my best approach, and I'm confident that with that type of approach you can string together 4 to 5 kilo of roach for really good points.